Welcome to Plan9Crunch. Today we're doing a B or C movie review. And the film we're doing is The Devil Bat, starring Bela Lugosi, 1940. And, by the way, here's Joe, too. Joe Gibson and Doug Gibson here. And it's The Devil Bat. It's a 1940 film from Producers Releasing Corporation. They were one of the Poverty Row studios like Monogram or like Republic. And Lugosi was on a good run here. He just made Son of Frankenstein, where he had taken a role that was supposed to be a 1 week thing, a throwaway role of Igor, and made himself, Joe, as important as Boris Karloff's Frankenstein's Monster or Basil Rathbone's Son of Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein. So Lugosi took a low-budget film here. PRC is the acronym for it. They would often hire stars like George Zucco or maybe John Carradine or Lugosi, and they would get the lion's share of the money. Lugosi later would go to Monogram, and we talk a lot about those on our podcast also. All right, in the film, Lugosi plays Dr. Paul Carruthers, and he is a scientist who works for a lotion firm, an aftershave firm, perfume firm that's owned by the Heathen and Morton family. And Lugosi's character created the formula that made them rich, very, very wealthy. But Dr. Carruthers is still on a salary. And he's loved by everybody, but he's harboring a really, really, really sick, dark hatred. Why don't we start watching now, Jack, all right? I love the look. I think Steve Stone should do a painting of Lugosi looking through that window. Okay, he's not satisfied right now. What's he trying to do with that bat, Jim?
Enlarge the bat.
He wants to make it really big.
Really big, and they already dislike the lotion scent, right?
Well, that's what he did.
He's already trained them on that.
He doesn't like. He's jealous of all of them making the money off his formula, so he's teaching those bats to basically just kill.
Or some Tibetan herb or something that's in the formula.
Yeah. The bat's getting a little bigger. So what you're seeing right now is a mad scientist in action. He looks pretty happy, doesn't he?
Yeah, sort of wickedly.
Okay, we'll give it a few more seconds, all right, and I'll tell you that. That's a big bat, isn't it?
Quite big.
Okay, Jack, we can go away now. All right, Joe. So Lugosi's angry, and I love these Poverty Row films are so bizarre in their plots. I mean, if you notice later, he lives virtually a few, maybe 50, 60 yards away from these people. Yet how they don't know that he has bats flying out of the belfry. What do you think of this movie?
I think that it's a screwy kind of story, but it works well enough.
It's the screwy kind of plots. They're almost chaotically delicious, aren't they? I mean, there's so many contradictions, but they work. I think this is Lugosi's best Poverty Row. As much as I love the Monogram films, I think this Devil Bat is probably the best he made. And Lugosi made a conscious choice to go into the poverty row because he knew he'd get good pay for maybe 1 to 2 weeks. Didn't take long to make these movies. But he also suffered a little bit because he became known as a poverty row star. Even though he still worked at Universal, the film roles would get a little bit less every time. He'd be the secondary guy. Let's go to another scene, Jack, okay?
A bonus. Well, it's awfully nice of you, Father and Mr. Morton. I will thank them personally tomorrow.
I'll tell them, Doctor.
Well, aren't you curious about my new formula?
Yes, of course, only I didn't want to be inquisitive. What is it?
A new shaving lotion.
Smell it. Pretty strong, isn't it?
No. The scent evaporates a short time after you've used it.
Well, Lugosi is so good in
Try
scenes
a few
like
drops.
this.
Now rub it on the tender part of your neck.
Tender part of
Yeah.
it. Oh, that look! It's great.
Soothing, isn't it?
Yes. When will it be ready for the market?
Oh, it's still in the experimental stage. I want to try it out on several people first and see if it works.
Well, if you'd like to send me a bottle, I'll be glad to try it for you.
Thanks.
Good night, Doctor.
Goodbye, Roy.
Goodbye, Joe. There's a lot in that goodbye, isn't there?
Yeah.
I want you to see this now. This is very good. Gets into his inner anger.
Lovely check, isn't it, Doctor? They are wealthy because of you. You made them rich, Doctor. It was your formula. Tonight they gave you $5,000 and wanted you to come down to their house and thank them for it. That was your money they gave you, like a bone tossed to a faithful dog.
Okay, thanks, Jack. So it's just they really convey effectively, Joe, what on here?
His anger at not getting all this money that he sold away.
It eats at him, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He carries this facade of being the kindly doctor, but he's just seething with jealousy and rage because he could have been as wealthy as them. And no one does that better, I think, than Bela Lugosi in these films. So let's go to the next one right now, okay?
I think the bat's cute. I don't know what you think. I think the bat's cute.
Time you were on your way.
Well, let's see what the bat does.
Okay.
Mary, tonight's a good time while our families are here to announce our engagement.
Look, Don, I've loved you a long time, ever since we were kids. But I'm afraid it's been more like a sister.
Well, I had no idea you felt that way.
Nothing's happened to Roy.
Okay, thanks, Jack. All right, let me give you a little bit of backstory here. I said that there's a Morton and Heath family. Well, the woman playing Mary Heath is Suzanne Caron, who was a well-known actress at the time. She actually had her last film in 1984 in the movie The Cotton Club. But she was, Don Morton is her father, fiance, but she's telling him that she doesn't want to get married. That's going to introduce a character named Johnny Layton, who's a reporter, who there's kind of romance, or maybe He's played by Dave O'Brien, who you might have seen if you're a Bela Lugosi fan in Spooks Run Wild. And Dave O'Brien was also in the classic cult film about marijuana. What's the title of that movie now? Reefer Madness. Reefer Madness. It came to me. Yeah. And so they're getting picked off. You saw the death of the gentleman Lugosi just said goodbye to, and everything. And there's also going to be a photographer named One Shot McGuire who goes with Johnny Layton, and they're going to try to report. They want to do more than report the case. What else do they want to do, Joe?
They want to stage the news, but we'll get there if we get there, you know.
Well, we're going to jump a little bit ahead right now because we can't go on forever, but we're going to go right now to the next one. Jack, can you do that for us?
From the start as to the existence of this horrendous creature. I have
This
as
is
my
a
guest
radio
in the studio
show.
tonight Professor Percival Garland Rains, perhaps
Percival
the world's
Garland
greatest
Rains.
authority on animal life. I'm going to interview Professor Rains on the subject of the devil bat. Our radio audience may draw its own conclusions. Professor Rains, first let me ask you, point blank, do you believe that any such creature as the devil bat exists?
I do not.
He's got a nerve.
Quiet.
That's Layton.
Dark
and One
ages,
Shot
when
McGuire.
men and women lived in caves, there may have existed a bat of this size. But not in this day and age.
How do you account for the fact that Mary Heath, whose two brothers were victims of the devil bat, and a newspaper reporter, John Layton, claim to have seen this amazing creature?
Sometimes under stress of excitement, our minds play tricks on us.
Hey, he's insinuating you saw the little bat that wasn't there.
Pipe down. But how about the picture of the devil bat published by Mr. Layton's paper?
I examined that picture under a powerful magnifying glass. I denounce it as a fraud. Whoever constructed the strange-looking monster forgot to remove a label from the silk. From the silk used on its left wing. That label reads, Made in Japan.
This is a stereotypical newspaper editor.
Heathville. I want to talk to Johnny Layton. He's at the
And we can go, Jack. He's going to fire him. Okay, I didn't mention, we're trying to go through the plot, but I didn't mention that Layton and One Shot McGuire want to be there. They don't want to lose the story. And by the way, our friend, Dr. Carruthers is killing off people pretty quickly in Heathville. So, Joe, what do they try to do? What do those two try to do, those two journalists?
He's just killing the two families, though. But yeah, they're trying to find evidence, or they try to take a picture of the devil bat, then it gets away, so they make their own devil bat, have a rig with it. A sheriff shoots it, but they still get the picture.
And then, of course, what happens? The scientist looks at it, sees the maiden.
Well, but they had it made in Heathville. Why is that sticker there, Dad? Why is the sticker there?
Well, you believe it or not, in 1940 you could still get things by train, okay?
But they had like a local expert make it.
To me,
didn't
it's
they?
an ethical question here. I mean, Dave O'Brien and Johnny Layton and One Shot McGuire would be fired and sent home immediately, and they are fired, but they won't go home. They go to the sheriff, who welcomes their help, even though he's made them look ridiculous. Of course, he's not done with the devil bat, so more things are going to happen. One Shot McGuire, we may not have a scene with it, actually ends up marrying the maid at the end of the movie. But anyway, let's go to the next one, okay?
And you too, Chief.
No, not me, Doc. If my wife ever smelled perfume on me, she'd suspect me sure.
Well, Mr. Layton, I understand you are not married.
All right, I'll try it in the morning when I shave. I guess we'd better be going, Chief.
See you later, Doc.
So long, Dr. Carruthers.
Goodbye, Mr. Layton.
Thank you. He gives him the cryptic goodbye, right? At this point, he is working with the sheriff, and Carruthers is starting to fear Johnny Layton as potentially getting him. Any insights right now, Joe, you think, from this movie? How do you think it flows? I'm not making fun of this movie, people. I love it.
It flows decently. I mean, it's not structured like a slasher. We don't spend much time on each set piece of a murder from the bat. We just see them in passing for the most part. It's fine.
You know what's funny is the next scene coming up is one of my favorite lines in a Bela Lugosi film. Let's watch it. They're back, and apparently they've seen the bat now, a real bat. Let's go.
Which existed in great numbers during the early part of the Neolithic age. Perhaps I should explain for the benefit of some of our listeners that the Neolithic age is that period of antiquity commonly called the Stone Age.
Imbecile, bombastic ignoramus.
Yeah, but the term bombastic ignoramus is a great line in my opinion.
Yeah.
What's really interesting is John Andrews used to be a character who contributed. He used to be a friend of Ed Wood, and in the book Nightmare of Ecstasy, Andrews, which is an oral biography of Ed Wood, and some true, some not true, probably. All right, Andrews contributed a lot, and Andrews. Well, anyways, also Cult Movies Magazine had a lot of articles about John Andrews. He had a minor cult following for a little bit, and then he died. He tragically died. And in one of the articles I read, that John Andrews was really, he described him as like a Kramer type character. It was always on, you know. And he said that it may have been, I don't know, it may have been Ray Dennis Steckler who said this, but he said that John Andrews would always say bombastic ignoramus. It would constantly do that play until it would drive him crazy. But I do think that's a great line from a movie. Let's go to where it's starting to narrow down. They're starting to figure out that Dr. Crothers might be the killer, and he's visiting. Let's see. I think it's actor Guy Usher plays Henry Morton, and he's going to get some aftershave lotion.
Well, I'd rather wait until after I shave. Then my skin will be more tender and receptive to a lotion.
Just a little here. The texture of the skin there is always very delicate. I give you a few drops in your hand.
Look at that. Look at that.
I hope you're right about that scent evaporating quickly. I smell the high heavens.
Perhaps that will be the secret of its success.
Well, you can never tell what's going to happen in this business.
He is so condescending, Mr. Morton.
You don't have to worry.
Yes, I can believe that, Doc. All of your formulas have been highly successful. Oh, I've been going over the report of the company's annual earnings.
This is twist the
Net
knife.
profit of over $1 million. Not bad, eh? When you remember what we built on. A mere $10,000 for your formula. You shouldn't have demanded all cash, Doc. You should have ridden along with us. Then you'd be rich, too. No, but then you've had a lot of fun in your laboratory, with your experiments, dreaming up something new. You're a dreamer, Doc. Too much money is bad for dreamers.
So you try to pay me in flattery, telling me that I'm a dreamer.
Well, I do dream. Dreams that you could never guess.
Your nerves are frayed, Doc. Now, calm down. Get a grip on yourself. You've been working too hard on your formula.
Formula. That's but child's play for a great scientist. Your brain is too feeble to conceive what I have accomplished in the realm of science.
Doc, you've made some great scientific discovery. What is it?
When you'll find out, Henry, it'll be too late for you.
Oh, come, Doc. You can't pretend to control a man's destiny.
I've already proved it 3 times.
He goes a little too far here, doesn't he?
It's debatable.
Well, I think Morton knows what he's talking about right now.
Yeah.
Perhaps
but
you're right,
do you
Henry,
read
about
into
my
Lugosi like
working
leaving
too
his hat
hard.
intentionally or unintentionally?
I guess I'm a little
I don't
tired.
know.
Because he
I
interrupts
better
the
go
call,
home and
but like that's also what
get some
gets
rest.
Sure.
it buys
A
him more
night's
time
sleep will
that he
do you
interrupts the
good.
call.
And we can stop now.
Good night,
Jeff.
Doc.
Thank you. Mr. Morton doesn't survive this movie, all right? He shouldn't have left that room, frankly, in my opinion, after that. But now we're going to get to sort of the climax of the movie where Johnny Layton, our hero, okay, our reporter, detective, whatever, has figured things out, and he's going to have sort of a showdown. Now, listen, people are going to accuse me of giving this movie away. Come on, people. If you haven't seen it now, all right, watch it. You'll love it, no matter if I say anything. So let's go to the final scene here.
It's a cute bat, okay?
But doesn't this remind you of Dracula?
Oh, it does a lot, yeah, the imagery of the bat and the girl.
Yeah, I did not mean this was the final scene of the movie, people. The final scene of the presentation.
What happened?
It was
This is
trying to get in the
totally
window.
Lucy
A
or
big bat.
Nina, all right?
Oh,
Yeah.
it was awful.
And so it's really, to me, a motif homage to Dracula.
Mary, I
Most
want you to tell
likely.
me everything
Okay,
you
we can
did
go,
just
Jack,
before
on
that
this one.
battle.
So, Joe, you've watched a lot of, under my baleful influence, you've watched a lot of Poverty Row films. How would you rate this one with others?
Oh, with others, I don't disagree with your assessment that it's one of the best ones, probably. There's a high enough production value in terms of the bat flying out, killing people, and the couple scenes it has, you know.
You know what's interesting about PRC is they were considered a rung below Monogram, believe it or not, because
Yeah.
Monogram would actually take a percentage of the box office, which is what most studios do. PRC, to get into more local hokey places, would get a flat fee. Like if you were a theater owner and wanted to book this movie over the weekend, PRC might ask for $100, okay? We should do a podcast sometime on how they made money, because Monogram had everything down to where they always make like a $2,000 profit. They weren't looking to be really, really rich. They were just looking to keep going and make movies. So anyways, we urge you to watch this. It's a good movie. You can find it anywhere. I have a beautiful Blu-ray of it that's out. And it's at all the streaming services. It's at YouTube and Tubi. I don't know if it's on Tubi. It probably is. But it is on YouTube. I mean, there's like 5 or 6 of them there. So watch it and enjoy it. Joe, so you think this is not the best, but a good one, right?
Yeah, good, not necessarily great.
I don't know if I mentioned that Gene Yarborough directed this. He directed a whole bunch of films from anywhere from Universal to the Poverty Row Studios. Any other people here? I think I've mentioned the important people that were in this movie. I know a friend of mine, Peter Brothers, I think his name is Peter Brothers, has written 2 books on the Bit Devil Bat. I own one of them called Johnny Layton's Diary or something.
Huh.
So it shows that there is still interest. And anyways, we hope you enjoy this. We urge you to watch the movie again. And my name is Doug Gibson. Your name is?
Joe Gibson.
We're from Plan9Crunch. And we are at YouTube, Plan9Crunch. We are at TikTok, so long as it lasts, at Plan9Crunch. And we are at Plan9Crunch podcast and blog on Facebook. And we have a regular old-fashioned blog called Plan9Crunch.com, where Steve Stones, myself, and Joe, and even my wife, have written over 1,000 posts. So thank you. And Joe, what's the last thing we say here?
That's a wrap.
Thanks. Okay.